We are coming from the main management podcast room here. We've got Megan and Kim Arthur, and got some very interesting things to talk about. Highlight the Palisades Tahoe Community Foundation. So really looking forward to this. Megan, great to have you in the office.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
It's great to be here with you, Kip.
a pleasure. I think the one thing that you and I wish that we had more of right now would be snow up in the mountains.
Yes, it is very dry up there.
It's hopefully the weather gods rain down on us the back half of December and we can get things
I'm
moving
still
back in.
praying for a miracle March. We got some time to go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So great. Well, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, and then I can give maybe a little bit on my background, and we can kind of head from
Sure.
there.
Well, this is, really my labor of love, running the Palisades Tahoe Community Foundation. I got involved 5 years ago, right around the time that you were transitioning,
Yep.
and, started off as a favor to a friend and has morphed into, sort of something that I'm doing with a lot of time and energy these days. The foundation itself is, really gone through a lot of transformation. And we're focused at this point on a lot of different ways to support our athletes through scholarships, academic center, and building all of that has just been a lot of fun for me these last 5 years.
Oh, that's great. Well, it obviously, like, you've been on lots of boards before and lots of nonprofits, and it takes people that are committed and passionate like you to really make them work. So, PTCF is very, very fortunate to
Oh,
have you.
well,
So,
thank you.
yeah, my background a little bit. I grew up in Tahoe City. I ski raced Far West, and then North Tahoe High School, and then I went to college and ski raced there. I've put 5 kids through the Palisades ski program, and have a lot of kind of connective tissue that's kind of up in the area. So now all my kids are up and through the program.
Yep.
I still go up there and spend time when I can. When the kids, I still have 3 kids in high school, so those kids now are doing basketball, which was forbidden early on.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah, no, no, you can't ski and do any other sport.
that's
My
it.
kids are very committed.
I love it. I love it. I held him off until my youngest is a sophomore in high school. So I held him off until probably his freshman year. Then he said, "Dad,
Yep.
basketball."
You gotta let them follow their passion. I mean,
Oh,
that's part of what we're focused on is helping these kids follow their passion.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. The other thing too is if I look at kind of the roots that I have to Olympic Valley, it goes actually back to my mother ski race for Britain in the 1960 Olympics.
Wow.
So she had moved up to Tahoe in 1954 and had come from the UK. And so when the Olympics were announced up there, she was ski racing, and she applied to the British Ski Club, and they said, "Yeah, sure. We see your FIS points. We know how you ski race, so perfect." So she did that, and then my dad was a U14 coach at Palisades pretty much from the mid '60s until the mid '80s. And he had athletes like Tamara McKinney and Shane McConkey. And then again, like I said, I've been skiing up there for 6 decades. So it's been a while. And then, like you said, when you kind of came in there to take over the community foundation there, I had been on the board. So we've been involved, main management, as a sponsor for probably a dozen plus years.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I thought was interesting, I know you guys have done a phenomenal job with everything that you're doing. Um, I was very focused on fundraising, and it's interesting because I know it's on the website. You guys obviously still continue the needs-based athletes and the merit-based athletes, but we also had a other piece that we kind of developed, and it was a give and take with the ski corporation at the time. So Andy Worth was
Mhm.
the CEO at that time, and what I wanted to do is find a way that we could incentivize Andy to pay the coaches more money.
Yep.
And so we sat around and brainstormed and said, okay, well, the obvious thing is if we can underwrite their certifications, go from a level 100 to a level 200, you're going to have a much better product that's being delivered to the kids. And B, you can probably ask for more compensation. So I went to Andy, and it took a number of meetings
Yeah.
there, but he did, to his credit, he agreed. He said, "You bring me higher certification coaches, and we'll pay him more money."
And it
And
worked.
and it worked. I mean, I was like, "Wow, that was great." Now I know they've now adopted that program
Yeah, no,
internally,
when
right?
I met with Ron Cohen, who
Yep.
came in after Andy, Ron said to me, "Listen, this is on us. We need to be paying these coaches. And this you don't need to be providing them scholarships anymore. Provide the scholarships to the kids, help the kids, and build me an academic center so that the kids are actually, well-rounded and these student athletes aren't just getting money for skiing, but they're also getting all the academic support that they need, which is tremendous given all the travel that a lot of our
Oh,
athletes do."
yeah. Wow, wow, so that's good. I'm glad. I mean, it's just it's so good that they see that value in it.
Mhm.
So it makes a big difference. I know also we got Andy to wrap one of the Foonie tells in the famous blue and green colors.
And it's still
It's
there,
still
and
there.
I can see it from my deck. I can see the Foonie, and I'm like, "Oh, there's our chair, there's our chair."
That's awesome. That's awesome. So that's a lot of fun. Maybe transitioning, they Palisades now has a new Apex club.
Yeah,
So it seems pretty interesting. Have you experienced their version of it down at Mammoth?
I haven't, but I'll
Okay.
just back up a second
Yeah,
and give you a
sure.
little bit of background.
Yeah.
So, part of the way that I got involved in the mountain is in my day job, in my former life, I was a real estate investor and was very actively involved with KSL. And so I was extremely excited when KSL originally bought what was then Squaw and Alpine
Yep.
and was very helpful with them in raising capital for what then became Alterra.
Yep.
And so I have had the experience of traveling to a lot of the different mountains and enjoying the amenities. And this was something that actually I told them years ago. I'm like, we need this at what's now Palisades. So I'm excited it's finally here.
Wow, that's great. So you've had a lot of history and a lot of those. Have you been to Beaver Creek and Beano's?
I have not.
Okay. That was my very first experience is going. I remember, wow, this had to be like in the late 90s or the early 90s maybe.
Hmm.
And it was totally foreign to me because having grown up skiing at Squaw was pretty blue collar.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get out to Beaver Creek and they say, "Oh, you can take your ski boots off. Here's some slippers and come on inside and we've got lunch that we're serving you."
Exactly. I mean, I grew up skiing on the East Coast, and so it was, you found a bench and you tucked your cooler underneath it, and you hoped that your snow boots were there when you came back for lunch.
That's fabulous. Yeah, I'm very excited that they're offering up this Apex Club for Palisades. I think it's going to be very cool. And what really is nice is a portion of that membership proceeds is going to go to you
Palisades
guys.
Tahoe Community Foundation. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate in that we've been named as the community benefactor of the sales of the Apex Pass. And they've also generously given us a few to auction off to the community, and 100% of those proceeds will come to the foundation. But right now, 2% of all Apex Pass sales and corporate memberships will be donated to Palisades Tahoe Community Foundation, which has a major impact for us on scholarship dollars.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
so
I love it.
very excited about that this
That's
year.
very cool. That's very cool. And we, for full disclosure, Main Management, we are taking down one of the corporate sponsorships. We're actually Ryan, who's in charge of the whole deal. He's very, very excited. We are the first corporate sponsor. We signed that contract, I think, in November. But really looking forward to using that for not only team building inside of our firm here, but to get other people, other clients, to get to experience
Yeah.
what Palisades has to offer.
Yeah. I've had a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the spaces, and I think you're going to be pretty happy. I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good, good. Well, that's great. Well, kudos to you too for like you said, going back all those years past and telling KSL that that's
We need that.
we need that. We need that. It makes perfect sense there. So very, very excited. Maybe you can talk a little bit about peak to peak. Which wait, I have to do a shameless plug here
Please,
first.
please, by all means.
This is we got this trophy last year, Main Management. We had a team in there, and I got to hand it to Shelby Murphy, my chief marketing officer. She's a snowboarder, and someone lent her some skis that were, I'm going to make it up here, but they were like 200 centimeters in length. She should be skiing on like a 160.
Right.
And she used those skis to go down and slay the course and help us win this little trophy right here.
She's a pretty impressive athlete. I've skied with her while she's been doing videography and all sorts of different things. So I am not surprised that she was able to slay. No, but having you involved in Peak to Peak last year was phenomenal, and we're very excited to have you have not one, but I heard two teams
Correct.
competing this year. So not only competing against other participants, but maybe competing within Main Management a little bit, which is exciting. Peak to Peak is an event that we created back coming out of COVID times.
Yeah.
We used to have an event every sort of holiday season called the Whiteout Soiree or
Yep,
the White
sure.
Soiree, I believe it was called. It was a little bit before my time. And one of the things about that was that it didn't get the kids involved as much. And Palisades really wanted to have some type of an end of the year celebration. So Peak to Peak started off as a family fundraise,
Yep.
write down exhibition with a little after party.
Yeah.
And it has now grown into an event. This year we'll have a big mountain or free ride competition up off of Olympic Lady.
Wow.
And then people can come down and either do the exhibition course if they want, or just do, one or the other. So really it's two peaks, it's two mountains, it's two disciplines, and then one big community après party. And another thing that we'll be doing is we have a raffle and potentially an auction as part of that après party. And we're bringing back something that was really popular a few years ago, which is a peer-to-peer fundraising. So another way to get teams competing with each other for the good of the community in raising money for their teams. And the team that wins that peer fundraising will actually get Palisades passes for next season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. No, I love that. You mentioned the white out soiree, which was something when I was on the board we created, but you were exactly right. It really was an adult deal. We had it timed between Christmas and New Year's when most of the team members were up there, and it really was just to raise money.
Yep.
And so I love the extension that you guys have done, getting the kids involved, getting the whole families involved. That's well, and we're just like you said, we're very, very excited to be able to get in there and have at least two teams. And
Well, and one of the reasons we're able to do that and maybe de-emphasize some of the fundraising for Peak to Peak, it is now a big fundraiser for
Yep.
us, but initially it started out as what I call a friend raiser.
yeah,
We wanted to build community. We wanted to get friends in. And the reason we were able to actually de-emphasize the fundraising piece in the beginning is we also started our own parking auction. So we
Oh.
work very closely with Palisades. We are our own separate 501c3, as you know, but Palisades is a big sponsor for us and helps us with a lot. We give a lot back to the
Sure.
mountain.
Yeah.
And so each year they donate a few parking spots in the preferred parking lot on the Palisades side.
Yep.
And then we convince them there's no preferred parking over at Alpine.
Oh.
But I was able to convince them to give me two dedicated parking spots at Alpine. And so we auction those off every September, October. And that has become a really big driving force for us.
That's great. Do you have those parking spots logoed? Are they dedicated ones logoed with
Yes,
with
so they
Palisades?
have they have our logo on
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
and it says this spot is reserved for, and then it will have the family's name on it.
Love it.
So it's not even just you go into preferred parking and
Yeah.
you find a spot. It's
Yeah.
like
That's
is
yours.
your spot for the whole season.
Ooh, kudos to you. That's great. That's a sharp thing. So you guys really have broadened out that whole relationship with the corporation there, and like you said, because you're giving so much back to the community and to the mountain.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we have.
Yeah, yeah, love it, love it. So speaking just to digress for a second, you've got kids in the program right now, so you're obviously actively involved
I
on
am
both
in it.
sides. Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah,
am in it.
yeah.
I have kids who are free ride athletes, and what's been interesting is I remember having a conversation with you when we were transitioning, and you were pointing out that every single person on the board, with the exception of one, had more of a fist discipline to their family,
Yeah.
and we were missing the perspective of some of the other teams. And so we have really diversified the board, in that we just had a ski or a snowboard cross, family join the board. That hasn't yet been announced, but we've got a parent who represents that community. We have a few folks who represent, free ride, and then we also have a lot of, FIS athlete parents, but they range in the spectrum of the really little kids
Mhm.
to the more competitive athletes. So it's a really great diversified sort of snow sport
Yep.
board at this point. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I know that you're right there, like kids when you talk to them, the free ride program, when I talk to, like, my teenage kids and any of their friends,
Mhm.
it's always free ride, free ride, free
Yeah.
ride. That's what excites them and gets them going, so, awesome. So maybe just I was just gonna give a, quick little, overview of what Maine management is for any of the people out there just kind of wondering, but, Maine is we are a private firm. It's 26 team members. We run about $5 billion in client assets. And we are based in San Francisco, and we are all about building meaningful relationships. That's really, we're in the business of building meaningful relationships with other advisors. And the way we try to achieve that is we have a culture of client first with exceptional service.
Mhm.
We also have two features that I think make it very unique and support that objective. And one is half the team members have equity in the
Mhm.
firm. So I think people have skin in the game there. They always think and act very, very differently. They act as owners. And then the other piece is for skin in the game. 10% of the firm's assets are the partner's assets. So again, we're invested right alongside people. But I really like the other feature that we have is I like hiring athletes and competitive people,
Mhm.
because if you get those two people, they have a background where they're coachable, they set their own goals, they're their own harshest critics, they love to compete,
Yep.
and you wrap that whole thing together, and it makes it very exciting. The other thing we have, I would say, the median age in the firm here is probably 30 years old. So we have a lot of young talent that we bring in that has a lot of promise, and they usually always surprise on the upside. So
Yeah.
it's very exciting. I get excited coming in and seeing all these young people, and then it's the job then for the other senior people is you have to be in here and to be able to be a leader and be able to keep your door open and let these young people come in and say, hey, what about this? What about that? What about
Yep.
this? And it's, yeah, very, 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 very exciting. So
Yep.
again, we're really, really excited to be involved in all the ways that we
Yeah.
can with the
Well, and I
foundation.
think you hearing that philosophy on your own talent management and then thinking about what we see in the athletes that we're supporting. It is not just about which kids are going to eventually make it to potentially the Olympics, right? This is a sport that really builds resilience. It builds leadership. It builds, camaraderie. And so we are focused on developing leaders
Yep.
and supporting these student athletes on the hill and off the hill, and we recognize that we're really building the next generation of leaders coming out of Olympic Valley, whether that's gonna be leaders on the snow
Yep.
or leaders in the community or leaders in whatever pursuits it is that they wanna, kind of go after.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously that's all wrapped together with the love of mountains. I mean, I know you share that. You've been
Yes,
doing
I
it your
do.
whole life. It's so magical to be out on any mountain. Palisades is a very special mountain, but just that whole experience is just it's infectious.
I have solved more problems in my head on sitting on a chairlift. I mean, I do my best thinking sitting on a chairlift, talking to myself, and just taking in the beautiful scenery, feeling the fresh air. It's really invigorating.
I love it. I love to hear. So, why don't you tell us what's kind of next for the foundation? What are your goals and visions?
Yeah, so I think, ultimately in the long run, we really want to be the community foundation for the entire community. Right now up in Palisades, there are any number of nonprofits. And in fact, it's kind of serves as a disservice to the community in
Mm,
some ways, because we're all kind of we're overlapping in a lot of ways. And so I've been talking with Palisades leadership about ways to bring some of these organizations more closely together. That's a long run
yep.
kind of vision and goal is that we really create more partnership
Yep.
between the foundations. In the short term and the medium term, what we are focused on is growing our scholarship program. I cannot tell you how many people come to me in this time of year and
Yep.
they're looking for more scholarship dollars. It is not a cheap sport,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of hardship right now up in our community. And so, I would love to expand a rainy day fund
Yep.
so that we can do more. Right now, we're not able to provide scholarships for things like camps and
Yeah.
ongoing training beyond the season. And so, expanding to be able to provide dollars for that. In addition, we are really doubling down on our academic center. We just recently hired a new woman to run our academic center. She has a lot of great ideas and vision. We have applied for some grants,
Yep.
which unfortunately we're not successful with this year, but we'll
Yep.
try again next year. There's that resilience. And what we'd really like to be able to do is expand beyond just being an academic center during the season and in person to being able to offer virtual assistance, being able to travel with the teams
Wow.
and help homework and staying on top of
Wow.
study skills while they're on the road. Because some of these kids are on the road for weeks at a time and they're
Big time.
missing school.
Yep.
And so really being able to provide more academic support for our student athletes in a variety of different ways and throughout the school year, not just during the really busy ski season.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So back to that first part that you talked about trying to really build and coalesce some of the other foundations that are up there. So you guys are all going for the same goal for the community. Is there a role model somewhere out there that you have, or do you really you got to
I
organically build
mean
this?
I mean, I doesn't everybody wanna be the Vail Valley
Yeah,
Foundation
yeah,
someday?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you hold that out there
Yep.
as the nirvana,
Yeah.
we've got a long way to
Got a lot
go.
of,
I think the folks down at Mammoth have done a nice
yep.
job, not necessarily of needing to bring together, disparate organizations, but being more than just a service for the ski team.
Right.
And so, it is a little bit of a we've got to concoct it ourselves. You know that Olympic Valley is such a special, unique place.
Yeah.
And it is there's so much passion for a lot of different initiatives, and we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, yeah. I was just thinking this is kind of it's in the lane, but it's a little off. I know Tony Stontiner
Yep.
built that great sculpture, and we've got what
The
24 or 25.
Forge.
The Forge,
Yes.
exactly. And there's 24 or 25 inaugural people that are on it. And that's obviously a great hit list, I
It is
imagine.
phenomenal. They
Yeah.
just actually inducted a few more names, last Saturday night or the
They did.
Saturday night
Okay.
before, yeah. Yeah,
Super.
our good friend Bill Hudson is now,
Oh, he's on there
he
now.
is now on the Forge
Oh,
list, yeah.
good for him.
Yeah.
Well deserved. So, well, this has been great. Again, we are so proud to be aligned with the foundation, and it's something that's passionate for me. And having Shelby now, she's like like you said, you've gone out there and made turns with her. She's just an incredible person. And so we are just really looking forward to continuing to build the partnership
We
and
are too. I'm so grateful for everything that you have done through your career and the ways that you continue to find opportunities to give back. And On behalf of our families, on behalf of our student athletes, of our board, you have been just such a tremendous partner to us. And so I just want to thank you through all of the contributions, whether it's peak to peak, being a board member, sharing your family's history and love of the mountain, Maine management's, continued support. It's just really, it means a lot to us. So
Well,
thank you.
thank you very much too, Megan. Really, really appreciate that. So, great. Well, that's all we have here. And again, anybody out there, wants to do a snow dance, we'll take it.
Please.
It'll be great. So, okay, thank you very much.